What's up guys, Jeebs here, and I am pumped today for the two cars that just dropped at the Detroit Auto Show. If you're new to my channel, I generally do videos on my Focus ST, upgrading, I do automotive news like I'm doing right now, reviews, all kinds of stuff. So if you enjoy that, why don't you subscribe? The two cars that I am most excited about from the reveals so far at the Detroit Auto Show are obviously the 2020 Supra and also the Subaru WRX STi S209. It's the first time they've brought an S-Series to the United States, so I'm really excited about that, and we'll talk about it a little later in the video. But first, let's talk about what everyone is talking about, what everyone's been waiting for official specs on, and that's the new Supra. Because of how good the previous Supra was, it's kind of like the NSX. Everyone's like, oh, it's a disgrace to the name. Doesn't have the 2J engine. I just get so sick of that negativity because we are lucky that Toyota took the time to go and redevelop an icon, and I think they made a great car. The power figures were a lot less than I expected. I expected the Supra to have like 380 horsepower. The only problem with that is because of that high power, I'd have felt like the cost would have been north of $60,000, which for a Toyota is a lot. The prices for this are starting at $49,900 for the base version, and then it bumps up to like $52,000 and then $54,900 for the limited edition launch model, which is going to be limited to 1,500 units in the United States. So 335 horsepower, 365 foot-pounds of torque. I think that's a really healthy base for power in this car. And it leaves a ton of room for tuning. It shares this engine with the new BMW Z4. So the nice part about that is that car makes the Z40i, or the M40i in the Z pack in the Z car, makes 382 horsepower. So you know the engine is already capable of that. Wait till the aftermarket gets a hold of it. I think this is pretty easily a 500 horsepower car, so I'm really excited to see what they do with that. The exterior of the Supra, and you can just check it out in these pictures here instead of looking at my face, but the exterior of the Supra is, I think it's beautiful. The front is really nice. I think the exhaust pipes in the back are a little too, can add some more meat there. I'm sure there's going to be a TRD exhaust that you can get. We'll see as the accessories start to come out on the website. But I think they could do a little bit more with the exhaust. Maybe a quad tip would look really good, something like that. Overall, though, I just think it's an absolute classic design. The rear wheel drive, all that. And I think they also did, you know, when you see these amazing concept cars, and part of the issue with the concept cars is it's too expensive to mass produce some of the body parts. I'm just gonna sit in the back of my car because there's a little bit of wind out there, and this camera is very sensitive to wind, and I didn't bring my mic. Also, this seat is jacked all the way back. I'm 6 feet tall, and there's these little slots that my knees fit in, so I can actually fit in here with the seat all the way back, so that's good. Still tight. I think that Nissan did a really nice job of sticking to the FT1 concept that dropped in 2014. That car was stunning beyond belief, and they did a nice job at leaving it pretty close to that for a production car, so I was really happy to see that. A straight six engine is known as one of the best engines you can put in a sports car. The reason for that is because it doesn't shake itself apart. The timing is linear in it. Again, and I'm not an engineer, I'm just going off of the reasons why I've researched and heard that a straight six is a really good engine like the E46 has, delivers the power nicely, all those things. It's really good they stuck with a 6-cylinder engine. There's also going to be a 4-cylinder model, and in the United States, we should be getting that at 255 horsepower. Overseas, they're going to offer a 4-cylinder that starts at 194 horsepower, which is really weird to me. Almost makes me wonder if they're discontinuing the GT86 or BRZ. Now, the disappointment of the Supra for me, and probably the part that I was most excited about, because you kind of knew what it was going to look like based on the pre-production model that everyone saw with the special A90 wrap on it. The most disappointing part is the interior. It looked like a Toyota Camry. The steering wheel's not that exciting. It does have split, you know, if you can see on my wheel here, like right where the perforated leather is, it does have that in red, so it's sporty. It's nice that they have the digital tachometer right in the center of the cluster, so it's driver focus, and to the left of that is where they have the digital speedometer. So that's nice. I think the seats are pretty nice. Just the steering wheel and the way that the center console's set up kind of looks like a Z BMW, which is understandable because they co-developed it. I don't know. I just wanted something a little more special. I think the other disappointment to me is that they don't have a manual transmission. We kind of knew this, but I think a manual is possibly in the future of the Supra. They developed a manual transmission for the Supra, and there's been rumors that that would launch overseas. That would be more down the line in the life cycle of the Supra. My thing is what I read on it is they're not sure how the market is going to react to the car. If you put this car with a manual transmission out there, I think it would be similar to the 911R. I don't think the Supra, I'm not saying the Supra would sell for $1 million. I'm saying that people would jump off their seats for that, because if you're going to buy this as a secondary car, which I don't think most people are, but if you're going to buy this as a secondary car, you're going to really want a manual transmission. Just makes you feel more connected, all that stuff. So that's what I'll say about that. Another point that this video, I'll link in the description below to where I'm getting this information, is they have to produce this for the mass market. So that's why they created that 4-cylinder version. That's also why it comes in an automatic transmission, because that's what most people are going to buy. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. And if it has to come in an automatic transmission, but it's the Supra, I am okay with that, because I'd rather them be building the Supra than for us to be living back in 1998, which was the last time they brought over the Supra in the United States. I think in Japan, the Supra actually ended in 2002. So overall, I'm just happy the car is back. I don't like to complain about it. I know they will improve it over time, but really they have to cater to the people that are actually going to pull money out of their pocket and buy the car. So a lot of us that talk about the car, commentate on it, we're not buying it. So they don't care what we have to say. They have to, develop it for the mass market and make a profit on it. If enough people buy it, I think there's a good chance they bring a manual transmission into the game, but we'll have to see. Those are my thoughts on the Supra, but let me know what you think in the comments below of the car. Be honest. If you're negative on it, tell me why, and we can have a discussion down there. The next car I want to talk about, and honestly, this caught me more off guard because I read about it, but I then forgot, and that's the Subaru WRX STi S209. This started back in 2000, I'm pretty sure. It was always overseas. We never got this version, and the power that it produced was amazing. We've had, again, the EJ engine that is in the current STi has been around for like 15 years. So with no power bump there, it's just been like, another one. Now the STi is still selling well and doing well, and it's only made in a manual transmission, which is awesome. That's a big part of these launches, and I think how the Supra would have launched with more positivity is if they kept it under wraps more. Not releasing the race car concept before the actual car, I think that was a bad idea. But on the other side of that, I think they did that to have it win some actual races first, and then wanted to launch the car so it already had some racing heritage behind it. So that's smart too. But this S209, which you didn't really see anything about, then just popping onto the scene in Detroit, I was like, wow. I was just really impressed with how it looked. 101 millimeter quad tip exhaust pipes, huge. Has a turbo from HKS. The carbon fiber roof, the adjustable spoiler, has a button where you press water, it sprays it onto the intercooler to cool things down. I mean, it just has so many cool things on it. And I would, if money wasn't an option, I would buy that STi over the Supra. I honestly would. It seems like it's a more special, it's definitely a more special car. They're only making 200 of them, so the price on it's going to be ridiculous. But I'm just so happy they brought that to the United States. And kudos to Subaru for continuing to make a manual transmission, continuing to make all these special editions of their cars. I just think that's so smart. Like all of the things I just listed, I read once and remembered all of them from that new STi, which shows you, I heard someone out there, shows you that that's the market that they're selling to. They made 200 of them. It's special. I'm someone that would care about having a button that sprays water onto my intercooler to cool it down a little bit. I probably would never actually need that on the streets. But the fact that it's there, it's special, those are the things you talk to each other about when you're at meets, talking to someone who's interested in your car. That's a really cool feature. The wheels are huge. It has 6-piston front Brembo calipers. It is, that is such a cool car. Yeah, that's just a really cool car. I would love to get that, but as far as putting that on my YouTube channel, let me know what you guys would rather see. Would you rather see the Subaru S209 or would you rather see the Supra on my channel? I would bet that most people would rather see the Supra, and I would get a better ROI on the Supra compared to buying the Subaru. So the Supra is something I'm highly considering. I'm also considering, I texted the guy who owns a dealership back at home and that I'm friends with, and I asked if they were taking orders yet. He said no, they're not taking orders yet, but it's going to be really tough to get one in the first year that it comes out. So I think that's going to launch this summer. You're going to be able to have a Supra. You'll start seeing some around at meets, but it's going to be tough to get one. The nice thing is if I buy from that guy, he probably won't charge me. He better not charge me over MSRP for it. I don't think he would. Phoenix, I don't have any connections to Toyota, so I know they would screw me over. I really hope they don't do that. It's just that kind of really ruins these type of cars. I mean, it's already $50,000. That's a lot. So we'll have to see how that goes. But the interior of the S209, absolutely beautiful. Beautiful seats, steering wheel. It's just a really special car. I'm very thankful that Subaru brought that to the United States finally. Because we deserve it. I mean, we buy a ton of STIs. There's a great culture over here for that car. And just the Subaru brand in general. There's not any other brand that I know of where you could be driving a Legacy and one guy could be driving a STI and they'll wave at each other. You know, like if I drive by a Ford Explorer, they might give me the finger. Speaking of the Ford Explorer, they just released the Explorer ST, which I haven't even read about it because I could care less about what they do with ST and SUVs. Like, just call it the Sport. It's so cheap that they went and put the ST badge on that. Personally, I don't think the ST in a Focus ST has a ton more power than, way more power than the base model does. Whereas when you look at the ST Edge, it's just like slightly up over the next step down. So I don't even want to get into that, but I could care less what Ford's doing with their stuff. But new Supra, car I'm looking into getting. S209 is going to depend on price, but it's probably out of my price point. But let me know what you guys would rather see. Would you rather see me driving the S209 or the Supra? Or would you rather see me driving an M2 over both of them? I think the M2 gives you the best of both worlds. Gives you the manual transmission, gives you the luxury car, which neither of those are luxury. Straight 6 engine, all the horsepower. I don't know, the M2 is like the perfect mix of both of them. And I could probably get one for about $45,000 in a couple months here. So you guys will have to let me know what you want to see. I think you all say the Supra. We'll see what the comments say. But thank you all for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thumbs up if you're still watching. I mean, if you're still watching this video, you should thumbs up it, right? You spent a lot of time. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.